One of the most important aspects to your play in shooters is with sensitivity. People say to have low sense for more precision, and have a DPI that you're comfortable with that keeps it low. But what if your DPI does matter? A lot of people have mixed feelings and say different things about the topic of high versus low DPI without anything to back up their claims. So I first tried to make a comparison seeing the difference in the movement with the same overall sensitivity, but different DPI. I'll explain it more later on, but I basically used two DPI settings on my mouse. One being with 90 DPI, and the other being with 5670 DPI to show extremeness. I did some math to make them move the exact same distance, and then did a basic movement. I really couldn't see a difference, and thought that that would be the end of it, but then, after seeing the King Old Ravens tests, I tried his method for myself. This time, I zoomed in so hard that you could see bacteria on A-long, and did the tiniest movement ever. This time, hopefully you can see that there is a large difference in the smoothness of the movements, with the 5000 being extremely smooth, while the 90 looked like I was flicking my mouse. So that's the end of it, right? Always use the highest DPI you can in game? I personally think so. Linus Tech Tip said that higher DPI leads to higher errors and interference, but in practice of just playing like normal, I couldn't find this, like, at all. Maybe it's just my mouse. I used a SteelSeries Kana V2 that for some reason may have just been different. But even when my mouse did mess up, it messed up the same with different DPIs. What do I mean by this? Well, if I move my mouse super fast, then it does this really weird glitchy thing even though I'm using a polling rate of 1000. When I compared an 810 to a 5670 DPI Spasm, it seemed that they messed up the exact same. The only reason I could find not to use the higher DPI is for convenience. If your mouse doesn't have one of those DPI switches, then it will be really annoying having this super fast mouse flying across your desktop. However, if you do have a button, I don't see any reason not to switch between the two. If you want to change your DPI but keep the same total sensitivity, multiply your current DPI in Sens and divide by the new DPI. This will be your new in-game sense. If you want to test the comparison for yourself, put this bind in your AutoExec, also in the description, zoom in super hard using the FOV command, and press the key to toggle between the sensitivities. So why is higher DPI more smooth? Well, first, I know it should be called CPI for counts per inch of vertical pixels instead of dots per inch. In your mouse, the CPI represents the amount of virtual pixels, or counts, your mouse can move about and detect. I won't go into the physical aspects of the mouse, but in the broadest terms, if you have a CPI of 90, you will have 90 virtual pixels your mouse can detect in an inch. But in 5760, you have a lot more that your mouse can sense, making it more precise. As you can see, I'm not some sort of master of hardware and know physically how these things happen. I just know what I need to know to get the most out of my mouse. So at the end of the day, which is better? A higher or lower CPI? I say higher, but remember this won't make the difference between Silver and Olafmeister. I'm going to use higher because I couldn't find the argument points of lower CPIs. You could listen to Linus and believe that there are more errors for your mouse with higher CPIs, but I won't because I don't see nor feel any proof that affects me. I really just prefer the higher DPIs so that I'm able to do a 1000 reverse 360 degree spin in Minecraft.